Hello! Welcome back to the channel. So we have a couple of different things that I'd like to introduce you to today. So as you can see here, I've got the normal paint rig, but that is not what we're doing today. See, I've been working on putting together a rig, and let me just zoom out a little and show you what I've been working on. As you can see, it is not a character rig, but a Lightroom rig. And it looks a bit daunting to new people, so I wanted to put together a little tutorial on how to use it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into rendered mode. And as you can see, it is pitch black, other than these bright shining letters. So, if I look at the left-hand side, we have one called the sun. And if I were to click on that, I've got the rotate tool selected, but you can also press R. You can't move it, it won't let you. But you can rotate this to turn the sun up. And straight away we have a sun. And then the next setting down, we've got west to east, allowing you to rotate the sun. And as you can see it going around, it's currently here. You can see that it's just going around. And I can move the sun around like so. I can also set if I want the sun to be at the front or further back. I'm going to go for the front a little to cast a little shadow there. I can then set the sort of warmth of the sun, so I can make it more of an orangey colour, but I'm going to go relatively light around here. On the next setting we have light bulb setting. Again, I have an on and off switch. The light bulb setting is a bit more sensitive than I probably want it to be, but I can bring this one over, and as you can see there is a light moving over and it's currently up here. Bring it down a bit, I think. And maybe a little bit further to the right. And then I can move it forward and backwards again by moving it like so. Maybe I want to tint this one, and I want to make it a bit of a sort of a warm red on one side, like that. Now, backlight. Now the backlight works slightly differently, but I'm going to turn it on maximum, and then I'm going to put it onto a sort of a bright blue, just so you can sort of see where it is. It's actually this small one in here. And if I move this around to the right, you can see I can move that around behind the character. If I go into this view here, you can see as it's moving around. I probably want to bring it lower a little, so I'm going to do that. And we have that sort of strong, like outer rim on this character you've got here and just over the head there. Next up is the soft light. Again, we're going to turn this one up quite high. And so the soft light is this larger one here. So if I bring this one lower, you'll notice it automatically aims toward the head. And I'm going to add a sort of slightly bluish tinge to this one to add that little blue sit on the side. And I'm going to move this one a little bit further away. And I do want it on the right. But you'll notice the soft light rotates around in front rather than behind. So I'm going to put it at a slight, like 45-ish degree angle from the character. So straight away, you've got a Lightroom. You can light up your character. All you'd have to do from there is sort of do all your posing. But there are some extra things in this Lightroom that I thought would be interesting to add that most Lightrooms don't have. So first of all, if you look up here, I've got Shadowcatcher. Now if I go into solid view, you can see that the Shadowcatcher is this thing. So it means that if I go into rendered view again, you can see that although the ground is transparent, you have shadows still cast. This is really useful if you plan to use a background where the floor is visible, because the shadow will help integrate your character sort of into this 2D image that you put behind it. But let's say that your image that you're intending to use doesn't have a floor, so you don't actually need a shadow. In which case there is no point wasting render resources, so you can just turn that off and no longer do you have that bottom shadow, and your renders will be much quicker. But what if you want some grass? Now I know a lot of people have quite a few issues with creating grass and making grass, and just grass in general. So there is now an easy way of doing it. You turn this dial to on, and you have grass. And if you have a look here, you've got quite green grass, you've got some flowers in it, and it's just free grass. But then what if you don't want to use a background image? Well, I have that as sorted as well. You notice that currently the background is transparent, but if you turn this on, give you a bright blue sky, turn the transparency off. So it's now there's no transparent background, you've got a nice pretty sky. It also provides some light, as you can probably tell. But after speaking to a couple of people, apparently Headless was quite popular, so I thought I'd just add a feature for that too, and you can turn that on, and now it's Headless. Obviously this character's not wearing any accessories, so it looks a little bit odd, but you can do that. Now, I want this to act as a tutorial on how to use it, so while you can select them, and as long as you've got the rotate tool selected, you can't mess this up because it will not let you rotate it any way other than on the y-axis. As long as you're rotating it on the y-axis, you're doing fine. Everything does need to be rotated clockwise, as it states here, and I've got the arrows there to help you note it. You can turn it all the way back to off, but it should go from off to on, so it should go upwards. If I go into solid view, I'll do it quicker. Turn grass off. So it rotates this way. So it's like a dial. Now, let's say you want to reset something. So currently we haven't got a head. If I select Headless, I can either just rotate it back to off, or I can take the shortcut, and as long as I've got it selected, I can just Alt-R, and then that will rotate it and sort it out on its own. I can redo the transparency, Alt-R, and maybe I want to turn the sun off because I'm using the sky, Alt-R. And I can turn the grass back on like so, and I can even turn the sky back on. And we've got everything that we could want. So it's a really short tutorial because it's fairly easy to use. I will link to being able to download the Lightroom in the description. I hope you can all make some use of it. But then there is one additional challenge that I have. So, you'll notice that there is 2 spots up here that could have 2 more features in. I have a couple of different ideas of what I could add, but I would like to hear what you want. So, if you got this far in the video, and you have any features that you might want, there are 2 spots going. Whatever the 2 most liked requests are, those are the 2 that I'll implement. So, make them either as stupid as you want, or as useful as you want. Whichever the 2 liked most ones are, those are going in. Thank you for your time. I wish you luck with the new Lightroom.